Dear participants of the conference, let me introduce the research publication on the topic that you can see on the screen. The need to adapt traditional methods of ornithological observation is due to the peculiarities of the behavior of birds and their reaction in different phases of the annual cycle to the infrastructure of wind farms at the stages of planning, construction and operation of wind farms. The ambitious attitude to the development of wind energy makes it necessary to critically study the versatile aspects of the interaction between operating wind turbines and birds. Therefore, an independent software system was developed which not only provided the user with the opportunity to receive versatile monitoring data, but in tabular and categorical forms, but also contained tools for assessing the impact of the construction and operation of wind farms on birds. The WEBBIRDS system is designed as a web application that creates a single information network for all participants in the study of ornithological complexes. The main purpose of the study is to assess the impact of wind farms on the ornithological situation of a given territory through the element of the WEBBIRDS system called concentration gradient. Monitoring studies of the ornithological situation were carried out at the Botiieve wind farm in 2013 to 2021, according to generally accepted method by carrying out special expeditionary trips using vehicle and pedestrian methods of bird census. Studies were also carried out in the Tubal estuary formed by the confluence of the Velika and Mala Domuzla and Akchorak rivers and in the mouth of the Korsak river. The research paper is based on the result of observation of spring migration at the most massive movement of birds against the background of maximum species diversity. Data obtained during the monitoring studies in 2013 to 2021 at the Botiieve wind farm were entered into the program database and processed by the WEBBIRDS using the concentration gradient analysis method. Migration studies assessment of the intensity, safety and impact on them were carried out using the basic methods of vector mathematics as well as algorithms used in the computer vision. Based on the results of research on the monitoring site of the Botiieve wind farm included in the program, a map is generated with vectors that you can see on the figure 2, indicating the direction of the nearest migration in relation to a certain point on the ground, taking into account the influence of other less numerous migrations. The algorithm of the model designed as a web application can be defined as follows. Representation of a set of observation of birds, the calculation of the basis of the obtained vectors, the construction of concentration gradient for each vector, the convolution of a geographical map, overlaying the obtained gradient, filtering out insignificant gradient values, determination of areas of increased concentration of vector gradients, carrying out a differential analysis, and interpretation of the weight characteristics on bird migration passing in this zone. So let's see the results of the study. In the spring period of 2013 to 2021, 156,910 individuals were recorded in the project area. Of these, 52,575 individuals were observed directly within the Botiieve wind farm and buffer zones. 104,335 individuals were recorded at the adjacent wetlands, the Botiieve ponds and the Tubal estuary. The role of different functional zones was not the same, although in almost all years, except 2014, 2020, 2015. The adjacent territories dominated in terms of the number of birds recorded there. Observation showed that only 21.86% of the total number of birds carried out forage and transit movements through the project area. However, it should be noted that migration is divided into transit and forage. The peculiarity of birds' transit flight in the massive process involving a large number of birds and species, purposeful active type of flying. In the appropriate direction, long sight flights distance over 500-600 kilometers with no delays and stops on the migration route. Of all migrants registered during 9 years, only a small part moved in the potentially dangerous altitude range of 51 to 150 meters. There were less than 1% of such birds. If a part of migrants is at risk zone, the number of individuals and frequency of such cases is small. The bulk of migrants is accounted for either under the rotor-swept area or above the rotor-swept area. Since a significant part of migrants were passiforms, more than 40% of migrants were observed at ground altitude up to 10 meters. For migratory birds, a significant factor of disturbance is the agricultural work during the year. For transit migrants, the territory of the Botiieve wind farm is not a place for them to stop due to the unattractiveness of its habitants. However, recently there has been a change in transcontinental migration when most geese and Eurasian cranes and others fly through the territory of Ukraine in transit. The disturbance factors existing on the wind farm don't practically impact on these birds. Thank you for your attention.